we'd like to get started this morning. This is our student session that welcomes everybody, of course. And we have Michele Fite with us today to give us an awesome presentation and help you refine your skills on the elevator pitch.
So great, thank you so much. So for those of you that don't know who I am Michele Fite, and I am president of a company called Cadena Bio, which you probably have never heard of. It's a startup that actually just started 6 months ago. So that's why you've never heard of this company. And we're based in Cambridge, Massachusetts. It's a food ingredient company. Formerly, I was the head of the president of Soleil, which then was acquired by DuPont, and I led DuPont's nutrition and health organization. So I've been a part of women in agribusiness for many years. Many of you have seen me speak here for a number of years. And so I love this organization and I'm excited to be back this year to be a part of this session. So I love the topic of an elevator speech because I think of elevator speeches as the Swiss Army knife in the toolkit of a job search. You know, I think of an elevator speech is that 15 to 30 second talk that you can give cold to somebody in a variety of situations. When somebody is interested in knowing who are you, what do you do, what makes you unique and special, and what benefit are you going to bring to me? And it's not just for the person that's on the hunt for a new job, or for those students that are in here that are graduating and embarking on their very first job search. It's also for people that have landed their first job, or old people like me who just made a big career change going from corporate America to a startup. Because think about it. What do you say to somebody when you're meeting and engaging with somebody new in your industry, like we're all doing the next few days here at Women in Agribusiness? What do you say when you finally get that chance in the elevator and you run into the higher up honchos and they say, hey, how's everything going? What do you say when a recruiter happens to call or drops you an email and all of a sudden a new job opportunity appears in front of you? It's that, what are you going to answer when you get the question, who are you? What do you do? Boy, you really better know what you want to say and what's the impression you want to leave. So an elevator speech, oh my gosh, how do I pack all my wonderfulness, all those special things that I am, how fabulous I am, how do I pack all that into 30 seconds? Michele said 30 seconds into a powerful punch. Sounds daunting, doesn't it? I think of that as like a challenge of fitting an elephant into a Mini Cooper. So what we're going to do today, and we're going to take some time, is break it down into manageable chunks. And we're going to do a little bit of work, and we're not going to solve it completely, but we're just going to do a little exercise here today and try to get you thinking about it and starting to work on it. And then we've got some great leaders here from Cargill who agreed to participate, and they're going to do a little review with you as well. So you've got to practice. We're going to make it hard for you, but it's good practice. So in front of you on your table there, you have one PowerPoint colorful sheet, says Cadena Bio on it, and there's 7 points we're going to walk through together. We've got some coming. All right. And I want to take you through these 7 points together because this is going to be the outline of what we're going to work on today. But these are the elements of what you should be thinking about in a powerful elevator speech. And this is how you compress those things into manageable chunks so it doesn't become overwhelming or challenging for you. Okay, number 1, know your job target. You got to know who you want to go to, what's the industry you want to be in, what company do you want to be a part of. And for those of you that are college graduates or coming upon graduating, here's a mistake you commonly make. I don't know what I want to do. How can you possibly ask me to make a choice? Or this is the other thing. The world is my ocean. Don't ask me to pick. I got so many options. That's a really big mistake that you could make. Because here's the problem. If you aren't crystal clear on where you want to go and what you want to do, how can anybody help you network? How can anybody help you pick a course? How could possibly anyone hire you if you aren't clear on what you want? You need to pick a target, be clear on where you want to go. It can be broad, but you have to pick a path. Put a stake in the ground and know where you want to go. Then you need to start putting it all on paper. So remember how I talked about all that wonderfulness that you have in you? All those special skills, all those things that make you unique, experience that you might have developed over the years, skills that you have, hard skills. Things like, I was in the ag club. Things like, I had this job. Things like, I grew a business. I grew attendance somewhere. Those are hard skills that you want to write down. You want to make sure that you put on paper all these great soft skills that you have. I can make complex things simple. I'm a great collaborator. People told me I'm a great leader. I am incredibly passionate. Listen to me speak. I'm a fabulous communicator. Those are the kind of things you want to just pour your heart out into paper, and we're going to do that together today. And then you want to grab a red pen and you want to be brutal in your edits. Because remember, it's 30 seconds. And we're going to edit, 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 edit. Because we're only going to pick those things that are incredibly relevant to the target that we just talked about you selecting. Because we only have 30 seconds, right? Only 30 seconds. Okay, then we're going to work on formatting it. And what does formatting mean? Here's what formatting means. You've got to get across, in a good pitch, you've got to get across who you are, what you do, and what you want. But you can't take all 30 seconds to do that. You really only want to take a few seconds of your pitch because you want to sell all your wonderfulness, right? You want to sell how fabulous you are in your pitch. But you got to get those important things across. So you need to get across things like, hey, I'm Michele Fite. I'm an MBA student who's graduating in May of 2017 from the University of Oklahoma, and I'm looking for great marketing opportunities. You got to get those across really fast so they know exactly who you are, what you do, and what you want. But you need to get those across quickly because you want to save the bulk of your elevator speech for the things that we're going to call your uniqueness, your hook, your value proposition. Does that make sense? All right. Number 4 on your list in front of you. Tailor the pitch to them, not you. The person that you're talking to is going to have their antenna tuned to the radio station WIFM. Have you heard of this? What's in it for me? They care about themselves and the value you're going to bring for themselves, not about you. So many times I hear people talk all about, let me tell you all the fabulous things I've done and how wonderful I am. And I'm like going to sleep because I'm listening to you with my filter on of how you're going to help me and how this is going to matter to me. And so you need to be thinking about your target. This is why your target is so important, because how are you going to craft your elevator speech to bring value to your target audience? So here's a great example. I'm an MBA student with awesome experience, and you would bore me to death. Or I'm an MBA student with a 3.5 grade point average, and I would fall asleep on you. Good for you. I'm an MBA student who graduated from Texas A&M. Great. So is 25 other people that have walked into my office. I don't care. Now, I did have somebody come into my office and tell me, I'm an MBA student who already has proven capabilities of increasing attendance at school events. And I've done that with unique promotional plans. And I'm like, tell me more about that. And then she said, well, I actually did it year over year, 30%. I was like, whoo! Now I really want to hear more. Because I can get value off of that. That was an elevator speech thinking about how they could deliver value and why that would be relevant to me. Much more interesting. Okay, number 5. Find your hook. Find what makes you stand apart and unique from other people. Some people call this a unique selling proposition. Some people call this a value proposition. I call it a hook. But what is it that's going to distinguish you from everybody else who's out there throwing an elevator speech? And not only are you competing, for those of you that are graduating from college, you're competing with a lot of other college graduates, but you're competing with people that are in their 20s looking for jobs, 30s. You're competing with an onslaught of people that are walking into my office, walking into people like Mary's office, competing with a lot of noise of people that are out there networking. What is going to make you incredibly unique and stand apart? I have a great example here, a story of something I just went through with my daughter's best friend who graduated from Texas A&M last May from their business college. And she was really struggling. She had like a 3.6 GPA, and she was struggling with writing her resume and developing her elevator speech. And she said something really interesting to me. And she said, look, everybody who graduates from Texas A&M Business School and has a good GPA, she said, we all get interviews. And everybody thinks we're fabulous. But she said, there's a whole lot of us. What makes me special? How am I going to stand apart? And the one thing I knew about this girl, Ayla, is that for 4 years, part-time, she coached in the little town Bryan, Texas, right next to College Station. She coached this girls' volleyball team, a young girls' volleyball team. And when she started, when she was a freshman at A&M, they were in last place. They were terrible. They were just a mess of girls. And by the time Ayla was a senior in college, they were champions in their league. They won the championship in their leagues. And I looked at Ayla and I said, that's your hook, is proven leadership. You took that ragtag group of girls and you formed them and molded them into champions. That's your hook. And she was like, oh. And that's what we molded into her 30-second elevator speech around proven leadership. Had nothing to do with her college degree, but it had everything to do with skills that were meaningful in the job market. You have a special hook somewhere in something that you've done. And if you can't find it in yourself, go out and talk to your friends, talk to your professors, talk to other classmates, talk to colleagues, and ask questions. What makes me special? When I'm with other people and working or collaborating, what makes me stand out? What makes me unique? How do you feel when you are around me? This is when you will find your specialness start to emerge, and you can start identifying and building your special hook. All right, our last couple of things, and then we're going to get to work. Number 6, practice this out loud. You're going to write this, and you're going to take that red pen if you're smart, and you're going to rewrite it. But when you put it on paper, writing is so much different than speaking. And if you only write it, you run the risk, so you're going to memorize it in your head so that you can say it cold. And if you only write it, you're going to run the risk that it's going to sound like an infomercial. So you need to practice it out loud. Here's what I like to do. I put myself in front of a mirror. Have you ever done that? Yeah, and for those that haven't, it's a little freaky the first time you do it because it's like, oh, looking at myself seeing it. But you get a great sense of your facial expressions, your intonation, how your poise is, and even your confidence. and it's a tremendous way to practice. So practice, 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 because you want to be able to do this cold, with confidence and poise, and to be convincing. And then the last thing, please get feedback with somebody that you trust, who will be honest with you to ensure that you have confidence and that you're convincing and that it's relevant. Okay, now it's time for us to work on you. All right, are you ready to do a little work on you? Okay, we have leaders here from Cargill who are at this table over here, right? This is my group. All right, we got all these great leaders from Cargill. They're going to help everybody who wants to participate and working on the elevator and on their elevator speech. So for those of you that are going to do the work, and I think, is this my table that's my students? And who else are students? And who else wants to work on their elevator speech? So students, raise your hand. And everybody else who's going to work on an elevator speech, raise your hand. Put your hands up. Okay, I want my Cargill leaders to find students, and can you go be with them? Do you mind picking up your stuff? Students, raise your hands. And we're going to pick buddies. And we're going to do it one-on-one since we have so many. Do you mind? So Cargill leaders, we're going to do one-on-one.